Wow, some crazy stats here. Some crazy ones. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Losers Lounge.
I almost did the
You did the... yeah, that's the best. That's my wife's her least favorite villain. She's hated Joaquin Phoenix in every movie since because of it.
Yeah, that's how you know he did a kick-ass job.
Did an incredible job.
I rewatched that the other day.
How was it?
What a film.
That's a good rewatchable one.
They just don't make them like that anymore, man.
You are the oldest soul I've ever met in my life. Nuggets fall tonight, 123-117 to the Sacramento Kings. I'm telling you, I mean, my vibe's kind of like pretty good for a loss. I mean, losses always suck. You always... What's that one line that one guy said?
Winning is fun,
yeah,
and losing sucks.
Yeah, and this does suck. But I got to say, as far as it, a loss goes, this one sucks slightly less because I thought the Nuggets did some interesting things. They did some maddening things, and they played a very good team on the end of a very long stretch of games. To help me break all of that down, Brendan Vogt, who has himself a new chalice engraved with his own nickname.
Yeah, I'd hold it up for you. You can't see it. You can't really see it when you're close to it either. Shout out to Stella Artois. But you know what? I've had a really good time watching the Nuggets lately. That continued tonight. I know they didn't play well, but plenty to talk about, and not the worst showing in the world.
Yeah, I also brought in D-Line Co.
That's right, guys. That was a scheduled loss. The NBA owes us all money. They stole our money tonight. This is what happens on the second night of a back-to-back. It's an inferior product.
We lost our bets?
No, we won money. Of course we won money. David was advising. But the NBA owes us money and everybody for putting on such a sham product. But shout out to the Nuggets. They almost did it.
You guys know what bet cashed tonight?
The most absurd one.
Christian Brown 3 at the funniest possible way.
There was a chance. It was... The odds should have been way different on that. If we knew that that's what the game looked like.
As far as Losers Lounges go, I think this one's going to be good. Let's have some fun tonight, guys. And I want to unleash in segment 2 probably a new hot box and hot takes that I have. Might be segment 3, we'll find out. But first, let's get to the fast breakdown. Good rhythm first 5 minutes. That was my notes. There was a good rhythm to the team. I liked how they were playing. I'd say Ball was popping early on. Jokic complete takeover scoring. That was a sign of things to come for sure. 16 points in the first quarter for Jokic. Absolute monster, man. Just going to town. Then the bench came in and lost the rest of the quarter, and you were like, oh, God, here we are. This is going to happen. Nuggets up 30-25. They should have been up 11 or 12. They only got up 30-25. Let's see what happens in the second quarter. JaVale McGee checks in. And, guys, in the year 2023 of our Lord, JaVale McGee put on a dominant master class against DeAndre Jordan.
Pierre made a return, dude.
Unbelievable. DeAndre Jordan missed a dunk. He was getting, couldn't get a rebound. JaVale McGee's blocking every shot. He's running the court. He's finishing with touch. I'm not going to lie, guys, it sucked. It was a really, really
rough watch.
We've had a lot of bad bench stints. That one might have been my least favorite. If I was forced to rewatch one, I think this would be the most annoying one to have to watch. Absolute disaster. Nuggets went from up 8 to down 8 in 5 non-Jokic minutes. Jokic comes back in. They cut the lead to 6. Kings push it up to 11. Nuggets get it back down to 7. Kings push it up to 14. And the Nuggets finish the half 0 of 9 from 3. Kings take a 64-50 lead into halftime. It felt like it was over. But in the second half, the Nuggets start the quarter or the half with a 6-0 run.
Okay.
And then the Kings respond with an 8-0 run.
All right.
Not so good. But then, guys, Christian Brown becomes the first Nugget to hit a 3. Yes, the one that was 0.5 and plus money on Bet365. He's the one that drained it. Jokic started taking over in that third quarter as if he wouldn't already, but he was absolutely becoming more and more, I would say, angry and intense and determined and maybe even coaching guys up a little bit more.
Interesting observation, Alan.
Yeah, just interesting thing. Put a pin in that one. And then this is really where the game was lost, because it was lost in the DeAndre moments. But in the last 1 minute of the third quarter, when the Nuggets had cut this into the moment where that whole arena was about to get really nervous, the Nuggets allow like a 6-0 run in the final minute, including turnovers. Christian Brown's running point. It was a disaster. And all that work they had done to cut it, going into the fourth, you're like, damn it, all right back out the window. But the fourth quarter, they battled. Guys, a team on the 5th game in 7 nights going into the fourth quarter down 8 points. How are they going to, or 10 points? How are they going to handle it? Peyton Watson got one of the most incredible steals we'd ever seen. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Tips it, then jumps like through the lane. It was unbelievable.
Dude. He's so long.
And this bench unit actually had cut it to 5 and got a wide open Julian Strother 3 on the wing. He missed it. They go the other way and score. There's so many moments like that where you're like, if that one thing. Nuggets were scoring the rest of the quarter but couldn't get any stops. Aaron Gordon had a 3 that cut it to 5. Reggie Jackson had a fast break layup that cut it to 3. Monk hit a floater that banked in, kind of a lucky one, I think. Jokic got fouled on a jumper, goes 2 of 2 from the line. 3-point game. Then the Sacramento Kings go into their fourth quarter offense, high pick and roll with 2 guards that go all the way up to the logo. This very unique style. I think it was popularized. Was it Damian Lillard with the Portland Trailblazers popularized this action? The Kings go to it a lot, and they got whatever they wanted. They actually missed a handful of shots in the clutch that they probably should have made. They weren't like well defended. Denver was scrambling, but Denver caught some breaks, but they just couldn't get it to go. KCP had open 3s. Reggie Jackson had an open 3. Michael Porter Jr. had an open 3. They had so many chances to take a lead in this one and never got one to go down. And the Kings come away with it. All right, that was it. D-Line, give us your big takeaway.
My big takeaway is that it's hard to read too much into a game like this. KCP had a terrible game.
On offense,
but he didn't have a good game. I mean, he's just like, you just didn't get performances out of guys tonight that you would typically expect. And the Nuggets were right there. And, the Kings are a really good team. They're a rested team. The Nuggets are a very good team and an unrested team. And you just kind of see what happens when, a 12, 15-year veteran in DeAndre Jordan comes in on the second night of a back-to-back, is absolutely just destroyed. It's like a game like this, it's like you just knew it was going to come. The nice thing about the Nuggets now is that they at least give you hope on a night like tonight.
Yes. That's a great point, man. And not only just hope, the Kings had to earn that one.
Yeah, they did.
A lot of times a team will get in a spot like the Nuggets found themselves, and it's like, oh, this is an easy, comfortable win against a tired team.
Yeah,
Denver's like, hell no, you're going to have to grit this one out against us. And I mean, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I thought Nuggets were going to win this one at a late point in the game. I was kind of like, oh, this is going to be sweet. What's your big takeaway?
First of all, I do want to give credit to the Kings before I get into it. They played a good game. They're a good team. They're hard to beat in Sacramento.
My second favorite team to watch, man.
And I also thought, they're not built well to defend personnel-wise, and ability-wise, they don't defend well. But they got after it tonight. They were playing really hard defensively. Having said that, my big takeaway from the Denver side of it is that they looked like a team that's played 5 games in 7 nights.
I know, dude. I hate that.
Second game of back-to-back. They played 3 more games than the Kings. Not that they can't just lose to the Kings or that the Kings didn't earn it. I'm not doing that. Just from the Denver side of things, man, they shot poorly from 3. I mean, it was the legs. That's what I thought. I just didn't. They looked really tired to me. The clutch defense was really bad again. Mike wasn't good in that regard. But I also thought the guys just looked gassed. So it's not. I know some people say no excuses. I don't really know what you do with that. They're going to play another game again, and I don't think they're suddenly bad. I kind of am making an excuse. I thought they looked like a gas team tonight.
It's not an excuse, dude. It's the truth.
But I like that they fought through it.
The Nuggets won 3 out of 4 quarters tonight. They won the first, the third, and the fourth quarters. They lost the second quarter 39-20.
I remember that quarter.
It was a really, really bad one. To me, I don't like the excuses just because it's you play what's given you, and the Nuggets came up short tonight.
Better if they won.
But it is, of course, the context of the game.
That was my takeaway watching the game. I'm not saying it's still a loss.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm clarifying what I'm trying to say here is that it is the context for which this game was played, of course. And Denver could have won it because I actually think Denver showed a lot of incredibly encouraging things that have a long that they're meaningful, not just like, oh man, something happened. No, like there is real growth with Peyton Watson, with Reggie Jackson, in terms of how he's playing so far this year with this team, with Christian Brown, who's now like
our starting point guard,
playing point guard in real minutes. There is real growth with Julian Shaw. That with key players, there's real growth. There's one spot that there's not growth, and that's the backup center spot. And I had talked about DeAndre Jordan and how great he played in that Clippers game and how well he has played sort of in the minutes he's played lately. One of the things I said was, while I can trust and buy the offense, there are a lot of teams, more than there are not, that are going to test him on the other end, and I'm worried about how he's going to look. Now, this was the second night of a back-to-back for the 35-year-old. That probably played a part of it. But you know who he's going up against? Dusty-ass, old-ass JaVale McGee.
I know, but who wasn't on the second night of a back-to-back?
My point is, DeAndre Jordan's biggest fear is that can he defend in today's NBA? He's a drop big who kind of just plays drop. Then you give him tired legs. Teams like this, I think, are always going. If they played this game again in 3 days, exact game, and DeAndre Jordan played the same minutes, I don't know if he'd be minus 18, but I would all but bet you he'd be a minus. Because that's a thing. This is the type of thing that I think is a real limitation for him, and we saw it tonight.
Yeah, but he could be a minus, but like not a minus 17.
Well, I mean, literally, if he was like a minus 14 or something, I think Denver might have won this one.
Yes.
But that's not good, though. I'm saying only that was still like catastrophic.
It was.
Jokic had one of his better games of the season tonight, man. We're going to get to it.
The Jordan thing is tough because just saying that he played really poorly doesn't mean you're arguing that Zeke would have thrived.
This is
the most legitimate concern about the roster right now. In the playoffs, it's not as much as one, but we all knew it would rear its head throughout the regular season. The backup big minutes, they just don't have a good option. I know it sounds like we're going back and forth a lot. I tried to say it the night of the Clippers game. Loved the way DeAndre Jordan played that game. It was incredible. That's just not who you're going to get night to night. And you could get these games as well.
And you were going up against a team that plays isolation basketball. So it's like, all right, DeAndre's not in the pick and roll.
Not in the pick. So, exactly. So it's just, it seems obvious after that Clippers game. A, why would he not be playing going forward? And B, why did it take this long to get him out there? But you have to acknowledge that this was always something that was on the table in some of these situations. And yeah, the reality is, for everything Denver, they did look tired. They couldn't hit a three. They probably win this game if those minutes are a little less disastrous.
And by the way, I saw a lot of people in my mentions on Twitter talking about Malone ruined this by keeping Jokic on the bench so long. Jokic played 38 minutes in the 5th game in 7 days with travel in between.
It's just December.
Jokic's played a ton of minutes already this year trying to carry the team in the absence of Jamal Murray. Like, Jokic played phenomenally tonight, and honestly, if you would have played Jokic 48 minutes tonight, you might have won. Honestly, you might have won. But you can't do it, and I don't think you can get mad at Malone. Like, when that DeAndre stretch in the first half was 5 minutes. 5 minutes. You can't get mad at Malone for putting Jokic on the bench for 5 minutes in a 24-minute half. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
Yeah, I felt like down the stretch in the fourth quarter, like he started to bring in some of the starters, not all of the starters. It was like at the 9-minute mark, I was like, bring in Jokic, please bring in Jokic, please bring in Jokic, and he didn't. And there were 2 disastrous possessions that happened in between now and then. I can agree with that line of thinking that you're seeing on Twitter from that standpoint. Like, there's just like feel of the game stuff that sometimes you get mad about. You look back and you're like, oh wow, 35 minutes, that's a lot. But in the moment, you're like, come on, like
38 though. Like,
I know, but in the moment, you're like.
You would have played Jokic 40 minutes tonight because that's when you're saying declaring him in.
Yes, because in the end, this was 38 minutes of futility. It was worth nothing. Like, you paid 30, and
I just think you can do this with literally every loss. Like, every loss comes down to a bad bench moment, and Jokic's already playing more minutes than he has last year.
And I thought he looked tired tonight too. As great as he was.
But this is 2 minutes and it's Jokic. Like, there are moments that if you look at it cold on paper, you're like, but like in the moment, it's like, God, dude, like act, please. And this is always what it is with Malone. It's like you want him to make a change, and it always comes later.
I think that's like a regular season playoff thing. Like, in the playoffs, when you absolutely cannot afford to lose any single game, he will play those.
Sure.
He will play those 2 minutes. But across 82, 5 games in 7 nights, second night of a back-to-back, like looking to get him a little rest, I don't think is criminal. You just have to be able to survive those stretches better.
But they weren't. That's the thing. They proved in the second quarter that they were totally incapable.
I know,
of
but
that.
you just can't play them every second, every night.
Yeah, but they get 3
also,
days off coming up.
But here's
this
the
is
other,
an instance where they can't.
Here's the other thing about it. It's not just 2 minutes, like 2 out of 38. They can compound. Like the first 6 minutes you're on the court are easy because you're not tired there. Your 7th minute, start to get tired. Your 8th, your 9th, your 10th. So you're really talking about the compounding of playing Jokic all those minutes. So to me, there is a sizable difference between 34 and 38 minutes and 38 and 40 minutes and 40 and 42 minutes. Like they become increasingly more significant.
I know, but we're talking about Nikola Jokic, who played an hour, a solid hour on the. Like he can do it. Like we're not talking about like your average person, and this was an extraordinary circumstance. This is like
I get the part of like that they do have some games coming up. I just want to direct that frustration a little bit personally, not stepping on your take, at DeAndre, who just grabbed the rebound, dude. That one where he was just standing there. I mean, like that's not about second night of a back-to-back or bad matchup. Like, dude, go get that rebound. But
he doesn't. I don't know. The other thing is, I don't know that he has it in him, man. You know what I mean?
That's part of the when everyone went, hey, slow down. You're not going to see him every night because where he's at in his career, that's just not realistic. But this is the tough thing. I mean, would Zeke have thrived against JaVale McGee?
No,
probably not.
I don't know if he would have been a minus 17, but I think it would have been a lot of like the one thing about Zeke is he's going to play with energy.
Right.
It might not be focused energy. It might be mistake prone, but he would have played with energy. Would it have made a better? I mean, I think it would have probably been better than minus 17. But let's be honest, man. We've had this exact same game happen with Zeke, in the lineup where it's like, damn it, if it was just a minus 10, in this, we would have,
So. If you were a little less terrible, just a little less horrible.
Does it make you, Eric, think at all about this just being a two-headed approach? That it's like Zeke and DeAndre. That's neither one's job. It's just like you try a guy.
Well, this specifically lined up in such a bad way for the Nuggets in that it's the second night of a back-to-back. So, like, you theoretically want the young, more spry guy to play, but they're playing against JaVale McGee, who is a physical impossibility for Zeke to be able to guard. So they have to go to DeAndre Jordan tonight. But yeah, it's tough. Like it's not just like we're gonna pick the best guy for the best night. Like Zeke is proving more often than not like there's not a lot of like perfect scenarios for him to play.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's tough because like tonight is just like generally frustrating, and it's like it's one of these games that feels like it's revealing a giant hole in the roster when really it's just like everybody was tired.
I don't feel at all like it's revealing the giant. Well, it's revealing the giant hole of the backup center, but that was true before.
Right.
That was true always. But tonight, like I said, I was so encouraged by so many of the Nuggets players tonight, in particular Peyton Watson and also Nikola Jokic. So let's take a break. On the other side, that's the bad stuff. Let's get to the good stuff and kind of wrap up this little
stuff. There was some. And speaking of the good stuff, dude, I really like to eat bread. You know what I mean? I like when it's toast.
I would, though, if there was some that was low carb. But
well, that's the thing. I actually am really excited to tell you then, Adam, about Hero Bread. Because it's important to have a low-carb option that fits your lifestyle or dietary constraints.
What?
Some people, they eat that bread, messes with their tummy, bruh, but they don't want to give up that bread, so they just get Hero Bread. The bread's soft, it's delicious, high fiber and ultra-low net carbs, and 0 grams of sugar per slice. Come on.
This is incredible.
I feel like I can taste it right now, dude.
This can't be real.
Painting a mental picture.
Oh, no, it's real. I've watched Adam geek out about it in real life. Never saw someone get so excited to hold up a bag of bread.
He's like taking on the form of a duck. He spent on too much time with the birds.
Oh, man, it's so true.
Straight Mallard behavior,
bread
dude.
comes over, I just start waddling.
Straight Mallard behavior. Right now, Hero Bread is offering the DNVR fam 10% off your first order. Just go to hero.co and use your code DNVR to save on Hero Bread today. That's hero.co to save 10% today. Be a hero. Eat some bread.
Hell yeah.
While we're talking about easy or healthy ways and easy ways to be healthy, I gotta tell you about AG1. Good morning routine. You make some toast with that Hero Bread, and then you take 1 scoop of AG1, you put it in 12 cold ounces of water, mix it all up, and you have all you need right there to start the day. It's there's too many supplements out there. It's nice to just have one single solution where it's all together. You don't have to worry about taking everything you need because you already took your scoop of AG1.
Plus, when you take a handful of vitamins, you don't have like a zesty, delicious...
It's actually really good.
It's zesty,
It's actually
dude.
really good. If a comprehensive solution is what you need for your supplement routine, try AG1, get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/nuggets. That's drinkag1.com/nuggets. Check it out.
Alrighty, there we go. Back here for segment 2. You guys know who was really good tonight? Like
Jokic.
really good.
Nikola
Watson.
Jokic.
Man, it's like you read my mind, man.
Oh,
36
Jokic.
points, 14 rebounds, 14 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. If you were wondering about the
so
efficiency tonight,
Dude.
13 of 23, pretty efficient. He didn't have his 3-ball going, though, sadly. It's looking like he was a plus 11. They took a rebound away. I just refreshed 36, 13, and 14. So there you go. 36, 13, and 14.
Still hit the over.
Still hit the over. But it wasn't just that, man. His touch was incredible tonight. He was aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was awesome tonight.
Yeah, and it comes on the heels of, in my view, last night was probably in his bottom 2 or 3 games this season. In some ways, just because all the others have been so high, and he just looked more himself tonight. He had energy, and I guess he got into hero bread mode where he realized like he was the only one that was going to be able to bring the Nuggets even close to victory tonight, and he almost goddamn did it. He almost willed this team over the finish line. He's incredible. I mean, it's just he just looked. That's the thing. It's like, talking about the minutes, it's just like watching him tonight. It's like this guy could play forever. Like he's just not a human being. It's like it's hard to look at him and judge what he does and what we expected from him based on other human beings. Like,
But don't you think that the Kings defended him really well tonight? Like this was a hard fought 36, 13, and 14.
And
I know that's
no
weird.
Jamal, and no one was hitting a 3.
Yeah.
There was nowhere to go except Jokic threw guys.
Threw
in
guys,
in
yep.
the middle, and he was up for it. And just 24 hours removed from a game in which I think the 16 assists are flying under the radar, but sure, he got outscored by Nurkic. He was not aggressive in that game. And I don't know, man. Maybe a few years ago, Jokic wouldn't have reacted too intensely to that. But there's something about, like, this version of Jokic, he's not going to do that 2 nights in a row. It was a great all-around game, but specifically okay, I'm putting up 16 in the first this time. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not waiting to see what else. And it does feel like, did he do 30, 10, and 10 again in this game?
30, 10, and 10, yeah. Not a 30, 20, 10, though.
Oh, yeah. Okay, A- then. He's just unbelievable.
He really is unbelievable. He once again, by the way, turnovers, 0. So he once again had a 30-point triple-double with 0 turnovers. I think he's the only person in NBA history, I believe, to do that. Like, let me get this right, because they had it.
That's cool.
Not even Wilt just dropped.
Dude, that's so good. Why are you so good at
Nikola
that?
Jokic has 2 games. This is according to StatMuse. Nikola Jokic has 2 games with a 30-point triple-double and 0 turnovers over the last 4 days. Nobody else has multiple 30-point triple-doubles with 0 turnovers over the last 40 years.
40
He has it in 4 days.
So stupid.
Yeah,
doing?
I mean,
It sucks that one of these was in a loss. Damn it, Nuggets. Come
It sucks that
on.
this one was a loss. It's Saturday, man.
and like Nuggets fans are all like, I'm gonna keep it real. I've seen better. You know, like, he could play a little harder. He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable.
He really is unbelievable, man.
I'm
and
glad
he's
he
getting
gets
better.
this break. He looked tired to me tonight, as great as he was.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he gets this.
I mean, he
little
looked
break
like he
here.
emptied the chamber. You know, it looked like
Right.
he was ready to give whatever it took to get
Right,
the win.
precisely.
But I think he's also going to enjoy his pool day coming up.
Oh, where is
I
the
love
next
that.
pool day? Is it? Are they coming back to Denver?
I think
That
they're
can't be.
indoor pool or something. Maybe
They're just gonna go to
Great
the
Wolf Lodge. Like I took
Yeah,
my
he's gonna
kids
go to
the
the
other night.
he's
Right.
gonna go to the Sheraton.
He probably does. Like, he could have access to anyone's private pool.
He's at the
AG
Gaylord
probably
or
has one,
something.
but he goes to the public pool. Big floaty.
Eric, have you noticed anything different about him this year?
About Jokic?
Yeah, like what's different about Jokic this year?
I think that Jokic is imbued with a unflappable confidence now that he is literally the world champion. There's no more theory. There's no more like, well, he's the best player, but there's still a few more questions. It's just like, certain point, like when you're just become the man, you just act like the man. He just is. He's starting from a place of just knowing, and I don't know. I just think he wants it now. I just really think that Jokic tasted that level of success and found that he enjoyed that flavor. You know,
it was like a really good flavor.
Yeah, it was like burek and.
Kale, do you mind if we go to Hot Box and Hot Takes? Do you mind if I?
Hey, can you pass that?
It's Saturday. Let's
Pass
hot box it a little bit.
the
Here.
Pass that graphic.
So as Vogt and I were hanging the other day, doing wondering a little bit about what the future could be or what's going on with this Nuggets team, throwing out a little half-baked theories.
It sounds like this is going to be a full-baked theory.
It's pretty baked, man.
It was half.
Because it's half-baked. Honestly, look, it's right in line with all of our other Hot Box and Hot Takes, to be honest with you.
It is.
Here's what I'll say about Jokic that feels different to me. One, he seems to be coaching the team a lot more. Mm-hmm. He's been doing this. This is a process, Eric. It's not like it's just happened. But this year in particular feels like it's doubled from years before. He's telling guys on the court where to go. He's pulling guys aside more. We heard about him, Jelko Obradovic. He calls him and has a little note for him on how to do something in the game. He's watching his seminars. Jokic's interest in not just knowing and understanding the game. His reads are even better than they have been before. Like, I feel like he's reading the court faster, and even zero turnover triple doubles. We haven't seen, that's new. We've seen him here or there, but we haven't seen him in volume like we have this year. His decision making has become refined. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
No, that was it. I'm going to draw the point here later, but I'm setting the table.
For a guy who I think the early characteristics were like, and descriptions were aloof.
Yeah.
He's just having fun out there. He's the Joker. He's a jokester. He's a little brother. The little brother energy has almost all but evaporated.
Oh, it's completely evaporated. Unless he's hanging around his big brother.
Unless he's actually
literally
around his
being a little
brothers.
brother.
That's the only time.
But outside of that, there is a much wiser sort of elder energy. He's a very serious person and player.
This is the other part of it. If we go back in time, not serious at all. I paused my game to be here. I'm very jokester. Are you serious? Do you feel this the way the fans feel? All this stuff, and then over the years, that's changed, and it's like, oh no, he cares a lot. This year, he almost has an anger to him. He has an even more intense. He's aggressive every night. I think one of the reasons you didn't like the Suns game is because as a scorer, he wasn't aggressive. And it was one of the only 1 or 2 games all year he wasn't aggressive as a scorer. We are used to 30-point games now to what 21-point game feels like a nothing. It used to be 21-point game was like that happened once every 3 or 4 games. Now it's like 21 points, Jokic. What are you doing? Jokic's becoming more aggressive, a little meaner, a little more driven almost, a little bit more like just serious and intense. And if we put the dots on the board from where he was in that category his rookie season to where he was his 4th season to where he was last season and this season, it's kind of a straight line, in my opinion. He has grown at this in a straight line. If we talk about him as a coach, at least in the last 4 years or so, there's a straight line to be drawn to was not really doing any of this ever to, oh, look, Jokic's on the bench with a whiteboard. He's drawing a play up. How cool is that? To now, he's out there every play orchestrating and grabbing guys. So my hot box and hot take is, let's extrapolate this further because we think of people as fixed characters and we think of their arc as fixed. But I'm watching Jokic evolve in real time.
That's it.
And I never would have thought he would have become the Mamba mentality, almost angry competitor. The guy who every night, it's not like I just want to win the game. No, I have to go at this guy and take it to him. The guy who is now coaching to this level, what's the next step? If this line keeps going, if it's a straight line, what's the next step of a player who's already starting to orchestrate and advise and just kind of like game plan and change plays and all this? Where's this headed?
I think it's potentially a guy who's more and more willing and ready to assume the responsibilities of being one of the greatest players of all time within an organization, whether that's kindly or sternly, literally telling guys what to do, where to be, why they got it wrong, drawing up plays for guys, telling guys where to stand, but also kind of being a dick about it, right? Being demanding.
I would say demanding, not a dick, but just definitely like, hey, we're not here to dick around.
But when I say that, a la a Kobe or a Michael.
Right.
And I don't mean punching your teammates in the face.
Right.
But just like, hey, like this is literally a game, but when we're on the court, this isn't a game to us. We have a job to do, right? And I just think he's really serious about getting better. I'll never forget him looking at the banner night with tears in his eyes, because there were these kind of misunderstood questions about Jokic and how much he cares and how much he wants this and what this is to him. And I think we can look back at that moment as confirmation that stuff was off the mark. And it's not just like, oh, he wants another one. He wants to do all of it. He wants to do all of helping himself and the team get better between point A to point B. He wants to take it to Anthony Davis. He wants the whole league to be like, man, we did sleep on this guy. We were wrong. We were wrong about him, and we were wrong about how to play the game of basketball. There's a kids earmuffs. There's a motherfucker to him, I think, that's only growing. And it's not something I thought we'd see in him. And it's maybe the coolest part about having front row seats to his career is that evolution, like you talked about. He is a different person than he was when he got here.
Yeah, man. There's the concept of being the reluctant leader, being the most powerful.
Yep.
The guy that like doesn't want to assume the role of being the guy that everybody looks to, but but life chooses him and the role chooses him. And more often than not, when people find themselves in that situation, they fight against it because they just don't want to do it. But at a certain point, when wisdom, aging, experience, you start to understand like what the larger construct of what it is you're involved in starts to like really set, like the impermanence of life in general starts to set, and you're like, you know what, like this is who I am. This is what I was. This is the position I've been given. This is what I have to do. And yes, like all of that stuff. And he did it last year, and now he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, okay, let's go. Let's be this guy. Like,
but almost more. Like he did it last year, and now he's almost like, what if I did this even more?
That's what I mean. It's like it starts there. It starts there, and it's like where like let's go. Like,
you said wisdom, and the word I keep thinking is like sagacious. Like he's grown into this quality that
I think we were all thinking sagacious.
That we give to like,
that was the word I had.
But you give it to like coaches, right? Like Greg Popovich in his older years, almost like post-peak, he gets this kind of like, he's like a Gandalf of basketball, right? He gets to be this wise
dunk.
Yeah, he gets to be this wise kind of figure. And I think that was good. I think Jokic is really kind of growing into that. You know what I mean? Like as a player at only, what is he, 28, 29? And you know, these like wise pillars of Serbian basketball, like that's not what Jokic looked like he was on track to become 10 years ago, despite everything he knew, just that he didn't necessarily want to be that figure. Now you can so easily kind of see that, right? Like him being an ambassador for the game and helping Serbian basketball grow. And the players under him learn. Like he is a wizard now, and he gets to have this wise kind of thing about him.
Jokic.
When not that long ago he was just the goofy younger brother, and it is really wild to reflect on.
So I'm gonna now answer my own question. Where is this headed? Because I really do see a progression, and here's the thing. The Nuggets are trying to do the impossible, the two timelines, bring along young players. And I do wonder if part of this is that's almost impossible to do. The Warriors have tried and failed to do it. But I wonder if Jokic can do it.
Dude, he can totally. The difference between the Warriors is that their timelines were so far apart.
They were even more far apart.
They're way far apart. Like this is like the Jokic and Murray are not that far up. I mean, they are, but it's not like old and young. It's like, you know, it's like the young guy and the other kind of young guy. Like, they're still a young team.
But I go back to Peyton Watson talking about how he listens to everything Joker says and how Joker's just been in his ear in particular. He sits next to Christian Brown every day. I just wonder if there's a little bit of Aaron Gordon. We all talk about Aaron Gordon was like, I should listen to what Jokic says and just do that. And then now look at how he's doing this. I just wonder if there's a little bit of Jokic realizing this is the challenge now. Like, how do I get better? Oh, I get better by making them better, not just on the court, but in preparation for it. And that's the thing where I say, like, okay, if these dots all make a straight line going upward, what's the next dot? It's just Jokic becoming even better at this through experience and through determination, and to a point where it's like, I'm buying Peyton Watson stock right now in part because I think he has a very good coach, a very good franchise, but also a great mentor in Nikola Jokic that seems to be right there with him.
As Google says, famous leaders who never wanted to lead include Mahatma Gandhi, George Washington, two guys with sick basketball games.
Dude, unbelievable.
I mean, like, come on. Those guys, perennial MVPs.
The other one on this is we don't want to call it anger, because I honestly don't think it's anger with Yoke. It's more drive.
Yeah, dude.
And here's the thing. I never would have said Yoke's a guy with Mamba mentality, but I think he's getting it. And this is the part to me where I'm like, he's always been competitive. He's always been this or that. But the drive, the fire in him seems to be burning even hotter as he gets older. And I just wonder, Eric, does this one keep going? Like 3 years from now, is Yoke just like so chasing ghosts within himself just because of how driven he is? You know what? This is what I'm saying is I think he actually does have these ghosts that have started to haunt him over the last few years, whereas before he seemed unbothered. Oh, we lost? Well, that's a tough break, man. We got to go home. Like,
before you answer, chat wants to know Gandhi was a flopper.
Was a what?
Was a flopper.
Dude,
all talk. Foul
out there. All talk.
All talk.
Yeah, I see my feeling on Jokic in my open air hot box and hot take session with you guys. Like, I just think that he wants to be the best when he's giving his time to this.
Yeah,
which is, and I don't know that it's going to eat him for the rest. I
don't think it will either.
I don't think he is very Kobe Bryant would wake up every day at 8 a.m. on his vacation to whatever and to work
but
out.
That might have been foolish though. Exactly. And I think Yoke has the wisdom to know that. My
point being, I don't think he'll be, the way you phrased it made it sound like, will he be consumed by this? Will it, weigh him down? He'll be chasing something. Chasing ghosts implies you never are actually able to achieve or catch them. Like Jokic, it's I just think he wants to be the best that he could possibly be in his trade of basketball. It happens to be a basketball. Whatever it is that he was blessed with, I think that he would take it to the nth degree. But then I think it would just be when it's done, it's done.
I agree with that part, but I don't. What I'm saying is, I think the intensity with which he wants this specific thing is growing, and that's what I'm saying is. I think you're right that I think he's a balanced individual, and when he retires, he'll be fine. But what I'm saying is that the intensity with which he is chasing something right now, just perfection, whatever you want to call it, greatness. The intensity seems to be getting stronger in the time he is going to be focused on this. And I just wonder, is next year, is he even more intense about that? In 3 years, is he even more intense about that? And that's the thing that I'm kind of looking at and going, guys, there's a real trend here. He is getting more intense every year, and we might see a year from now, 2 years from now, a Jokic that is just so we think he's aggressive now.
Right.
He's no, every night he's trying to MF these dudes.
He boxes you out at the podium.
Yeah. We got to hit a break because we've been really long on this segment, but if it's Jokic, Hot Box, and Hot Takes, what's better than that? We can go long on that. It's like Michael Malone. We're not going to bench that Hot Box and Hot Takes.
How could we bench that Hot Box
back on top the bench? Let's take a break on the other side. We got to talk about Peyton Watson.
Oh, dude, I would love to talk about Peyton Watson.
Hey, stay tuned.
But first, I got to talk about Breckenridge Distillery.
Ooh.
Have you guys ever tried Breckenridge Bourbon, the official bourbon of the Denver Broncos?
I'll tell you what, I could drink 30 to 40 ounces of it right now.
Man, right now you can win 2 tickets to the Breckenridge Bourbon Whiskey Suite for the Broncos-Chargers game
I can't believe how
December
excited
31st, which suddenly, Eric, is a really important game.
I'm telling you, man.
And the Chargers are ass.
The paradigm has been shifted, man. This stuff matters, bro.
Man, to enter, go to BreckenridgeDistillery.com/bourbon of Denver Broncos. That's BreckenridgeDistillery.com/bourbon of Denver Broncos. It's a fine bourbon, I gotta say.
It really is, man. I love Breckenridge.
It's actually what I'm drinking right now.
In every sense, it's fine. Look at it. It looks fine. You would describe that as a fine-looking beverage.
A fine liqueur. And that's Breckenridge Distillery. Check them out. And then there's another read as well, but my phone closed. So
sick.
We call this stalling in the business. Hestra gloves. I got to talk to you guys about Hestra's gloves. More specifically, Hestra's job gloves. Because this is a thing you may not have thought about before. You've got your nice mittens when it's cold out. Walk the dog. Keep my hands warm. And then if you're going skiing, there's a chance you've got your nice ski gloves.
Yeah.
What about just gloves that get the job done in the cold?
Dude.
You got to get some work done.
Some blue collar gloves.
We got a lot of blue collar listeners to this show.
Grinders.
So get your job gloves from Hestra. And here's why. Because Hestra's a glove company. They only make gloves. And they've been making gloves for over 85 years. Don't trash your good ski gloves shoveling, doing outdoor cold labor, or changing flat tires. You need a high-quality work glove. Visit www.hestrajob.us. Use code DNVRJOB, DNVRJOB, to get 30% off your next purchase. And anyone looking to supply their team with high-quality work gloves at a bulk rate, email Josh Jacobson, josh@hestrausa.com.
One of the sneaky most important sequences of the game tonight was late in the fourth quarter. Peyton Watson, Malone tries to usher Peyton Watson to the table to get him on the court for an offense-defense possession for Michael Porter, because they were attacking Porter in the pick and roll with that high pick and roll. But for whatever reason, the refs wouldn't allow it. And I feel like it was a killer. They get a stop, I think, on that possession. Then Mike misses a three.
Yep.
And basically, there's never a whistle again. Like, they never get a chance to do that. Peyton tonight continued to make such spectacular defensive plays that the upside defensively, I threw this out to somebody not that long ago, 2 weeks ago, saying like, well, Peyton, the idea is like he could be like a Herb Jones level defender. And somebody laughed and was like, "Are you kidding me? That was like an all-American defensive player in college. Peyton Watson played 3 minutes a game. There's no way." And I wasn't like that confident in it because I'm like, we haven't seen enough of Peyton
This is
quite
probably
yet.
like a tweet you read, and you had a whole conversation in your head.
I think
You're like,
no.
Show you.
You know who it was? It was Edgar. It was Edgar. I was having it with Edgar.
Hey, Edgar.
Very,
get wrecked, you
Yeah,
idiot.
get wrecked, dude.
But now I'm starting to watch it, and like it's still early to like make that proclamation. But I'll tell you what, it's within the realm of possibility because this guy's defensive. He makes defensive plays that like 1% of prospects can make.
It's true. It's true, man. Like he is as advertised. You do the beautiful thing about the long form story, as we say night by night. It's like it just keeps revealing more and more to you. This is Calvin Booth had a vision of what this guy could be. Drafted him as a guy who was scoring under 2 points a game in college, and we were all like, "What? Like what is happening here?" But you see it, and you see him getting better, and it's like. That's what's so fun about this too. It's like fun to watch these guys improve. Like they play so much that their skills get better and better and better. And like you said earlier, it's really easy to have like a set vision of who a guy is and put a period at the end of it. But like Peyton Watson, obviously still a absolute work in progress, but it's so encouraging. The things he does, you're like, man, that's going to be so valuable. If he can just like get to the part where he's not so quick to jump, or he's reading it a little bit better so he's not having to recover so fast, or his hips aren't turned the wrong way so the guy doesn't get by his front hip immediately and then he's trailing. Like all these things that he can clean up and be dominant defensively.
He was unbelievable. I have to, obviously, when we do these shows, it just ended. We haven't dug into matchup data or rewatched or anything, but anecdotally,
I rewatched it.
The only person who had a chance of stopping, Fox at all was Peyton Watson. He did an excellent job when he had to. That play where he dove for the loose ball in between his legs
so sick.
Was one of the most. I'm so glad we got to see Peyton Watson horizontal, fully extended, because holy shit. He's like, it's like laying 3 basketball hoops down on the floor.
Very next play, by the way, he contested Fox at the rim with the verticality, straight arms up, and he has that 8 foot or whatever standing and then he jumped so high that he created like a 18-foot wall. It was incredible,
unbelievable. And then what I love tonight, and I want to be careful how I say this because it's not that Peyton should never shoot, right? But there were moments in that last game where he got so excited in the second quarter stopping KD that he looked off guys like Jokic and Porter to take maybe some wild shots. Tonight he only took 1 shot. And while doing the same stuff, while giving an A+ effort defensively, but it seemed like he stopped and thought about it a bit more offensively. Again, it's not that he should only ever take 1 shot. I thought it was a good improvement in the balance of I can still be like a bat out of hell on defense or whatever, but on offense I can take a breath and calm it down a bit. But one of the really interesting things is where and when Malone has played him already this season. He has shown a ton of trust, if not intrigue and interest in who Peyton is already and can be in the future. And that's got to be something that I would imagine Calvin Booth feels good about Because it's one thing for Booth to build the young guys on this team. It's another for Malone to play guys. And Malone clearly at least sees something with Watson, and he's feeding the confidence with important minutes here and there, and that's been interesting.
Yeah, it's a new model too. I mean, they really are trying to build up the young players. In years past, it's funny too. Like tonight, I was just thinking about it. Like all of the players that are a little bit older all suck tonight. KCP.
Oh, of course, yeah.
DeAndre Jordan.
Aaron Gordon, even a little bit.
Aaron Gordon, he was okay. Do we even see Justin Holiday?
Well, with Gordon back, and that, by the way, we noticed that in the spacing a little bit. Not like Gordon was terrible, but that's something to talk about.
6 of 25 from 3. Justin Holiday 0 for 0. But Peyton Watson, man, here's the thing I'll say about him. I think he fully understands the target he's aiming at, and that's half the battle. Half the battle is I think the message has gotten through. It doesn't mean he's going to hit it every night, but I just think that he is trying and focused on exactly what it is that he needs to be focused on, and I just believe that when you're focused at the right thing and you have the talent, you're going to arrive at the right spot.
Dude, you want to like the microcosm of what is going on as far as Michael Malone and P-Wat's relationship this year. There were two close-ups. One where Michael Malone was screaming at him, and he was like,
"Oh, what he called the timeout in the middle of the possession?"
Screaming at him,
just to ream him out.
And then another one where he came off the court and he gave him a full embrace that like lasted longer than it should have. Like it was actually like a little uncomfortable. The love, hate, the hot, cold. Like this is where we're getting the whole Michael Malone coach him up experience.
Do you guys feel that Peyton Watson has the highest upside of the Nuggets young players? I mean, is that like the pretty definitive?
I actually don't know. I still think it's Strother.
Really?
Yeah, because I think that this is. I mean, it's like an offense-defense thing. It's like because Strother can stir. He can stir the drink. The Strother can stir the drink a little bit more than a defender.
All right, you're done.
All right,
I'm
fine.
tapping you out. Good stuff.
I didn't mean to go down that route, but like truly, like
the funny thing is with the Nuggets young guys, upside isn't really the first word that comes to mind necessarily. You know, like Christian is one of the more playable right now guys, but no one's projecting him to be a star. But Watson, I think what you do see are the flashes of. I think you can really say all NBA potential.
All NBA
defensively, thank you, defensively. And
I don't feel like you need to caveat that too hard. That's clearly his upside.
Yeah, sure. That's like there's a ton of defensive upside in the way that we were sold on it, the way that Booth insisted. You can see it for sure. And the Nuggets haven't had a lot of guys like that. And it's a really exciting possibility.
To me, I think it's actually pretty easily him that has the highest upside, just because I think the thing that he does is so rare when it can be done at the level that he seems to be able to do it at in these like tiny flashes. And if he obviously becomes a consistent every night guy at that, you're talking about 6'8" with that length that guards that well, who's not a complete zero on offense. And that's what I see from him is like his offense. Like tonight, he just has things he can do on offense where you're like, okay, you're not great at this yet, but you can get to the rim. You can make passes like on the move or whatever, which is some guys can't do that at all. He can do it a little bit. And then his defense, the guy, honestly, my favorite comp for him is Andre Iguodala. It really is. Like that's who I think he can be. And Andre Iguodala is like an A++ role player, you know, like glue guy role player. And that's what I kind of see him as growing into. So for me, I really like Strother, Brown, and Peyton a lot. But I just think that he has an upside to him that is different from those other guys.
Peyton Watson.
I want Peyton Watson.
My only thing with that is that, like, I think Strother can also defend, like, at a reasonably high level, and his offense is much, much higher than Peyton Watson's. So Strother's is much higher than Peyton Watson. So, like, in the aggregate, like, I'm kind of like, I think I can see Peyton Watson being a powerful defender, obviously, but I just feel like if you can be a good defender and a powerful offender.
There's levels. Here's what I'll say. Jokic is an example of an offensive player that I think there's no defense for.
Yeah.
There's not many guys like that in the league. There's a handful. There's more offensive guys of this than there are defensive. Peyton Watson's defensive upside to me is the Drew Holiday type, where Drew Holiday has the upside of, in a series, he could cancel you out no matter how good you are. Dame Lillard, canceled, right? And so that's to me where I look at Peyton Watson and I go, I think he has that kind of upside, and it's rare. There are not many defenders in the NBA who have that, where it's like, I don't know, man. Who's it? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, really good player. Playoff series against him would be hard. Oh, but we have a fully formed Peyton Watson. Canceled. You're no factor in this
Get
series.
out of here.
There's very few players that have that type, especially on the wing and perimeter. And I just look at him and think, man, he might have that. All right, let's take our final break. On the other side, we'll get to some super chats.
Oh, man. The sicko chat. People who are absolutely deranged and have terrible financial minds are going to reveal themselves to us.
We only have 2 games this week, man. 2 games.
Only 2 games this week?
Tuesday and Friday.
Well, but one of them is against the Clippers.
And then the other, the Rockets. They're going to
to
both be great. They're both great games, but it's just...
I'm going to be gone for both those games.
Philly, man.
Can you believe we're this deep into the NFL season, and can you believe that the Broncos are actually not a write-off, folks?
They're not a write-off. They're the greatest story in all of sports.
Well,
Wait, I checked out.
Settle down.
I thought their season was over. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know about that, but they are above 500. We got to make every second count. With DraftKings Sportsbook, you can make the most out of every game day. Bet on your favorite team. 1 Broncos, 2 Buffs, 3 Nuggets. Bet on your favorite teams for a shot at winning big bucks. New customers can score 150 instantly in bonus bets for betting 5 on any matchup.
Get wrecked, Harrison.
Just kidding.
Wrecked.
Just kidding, Harrison. I love you. Get in. Can't help myself sometimes. Get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the app now and use code DNVR. New customers can score 150 bets instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on the NFL. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Code DNVR. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Please play responsibly. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, must be 21 or older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms.
All righty. One more what?
That's right.
Man, thank God for
Bro,
super
it's a
producer Kale.
back-to-back, dude. It's a back-to-back.
I'm
Come on,
holding-
man.
They got dads
I'm
here.
holding the document that tells me that in my hand.
Do you think we can do everything?
I was
Come on, man.
just so glad that I made it through that read. Okay, now let's talk about Breckenridge Brewery. Not the
dude.
distillery, the brewery. So many delicious beers at Breck Brewery. They've got Broncos beers, Nuggets beers, Avs beers, tons of great beers. You can try them at the DNVR Bar here on York and Colfax, or go to breckbrew.com, check out the Breck Beer Locator. Tell it where you are, tell it what beer you want, it'll tell you where to go.
Yeah, you can try the Broncos Country Pale Ale. It's better than you thought it was going to be. By quite a bit.
Starts off a little rough, but
Like you open it up,
know?
you're like, oh, is this going to be just another beer like it's been for the last 5 years? Every sip gets more and more delicious.
Russell Wilson is the Michael Jordan of Tim Tebow's.
It's so true, dude.
shit.
I've been saying he's the Michael Jordan of basketball of football players.
Gosh dang it. You guys know
No,
who
he's Michael Jordan of baseball.
you guys know who had an incredible game today?
Nikola Jokic again?
No, we talked about him already. None other than Jalen Pickett. Down playing for the Flint Tropics
Jesus.
tonight.
he's already-
Just skip to G League stats.
I'm just saying.
Are we doing
go,
agenda check-in? Vote, how was the MPG?
Yeah, because we got a couple of guys to talk about. like Michael,
I
not a
was
great
gonna skip
defender
that over
tonight,
tonight. I
Junior.
didn't think it was needed. Did you really want to go
No,
there?
I just want to. I'm always there when he plays so well. I
Yeah.
want to say he did not play well tonight.
In all sincerity, though,
very big
here's
of
what
you.
you need to know. Here's what you need to know about the Grand Rapids Gold. They are 0-7 coming into today, and their high on the season is 102. They've scored over 100 one time. It was 102, and they've lost every game. Tonight, they get 134 points.
What?
And Hunter Tyson, who's been having a rough go out there,
Yeah.
also had a breakout game. So Jalen Pickett tonight, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, 10 of 14 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3. And here's what's crazy, plus 35. Which
Plus
is
35.
That's
G League is such a joke.
do you think I could score in the G League in a G League game? Just one time. In one time.
Wait, hold. I was thinking that
Jalen Pickett is my
What
point
is
guard.
more likely, that Vogt can score a single point in the G League, or that Vogt and I together, 2-on-1, can score even one time against Peyton Watson?
The G League,
Yeah, I
for
think
sure.
so. Okay, cool.
Or have you ever looked up Torrey Craig's G League numbers?
Yeah, dude, he's LeBron James.
Unbelievable.
He's LeBron James of basketball.
Stop it.
I did get a chance to speak with one of the coaches out there at Grand Rapids. They cut up, so I'm curious. I want to see how it's going. Told very impressive. Did a great job making everyone around him better too. Like incredible game in that. So at least there's a little hope. I honestly think Pickett needed it. He played like ass in the NBA level. It's good for him to go down there and kind of
confidence matters. I think
confidence, dude. For young players, it matters a whole lot. Let's get to some super chats.
The chat kindly letting me know I couldn't score in the G League. I know. I couldn't score at like the altitude 3-on-3 tournament.
Yeah, you'll notice Vogt didn't take any shots during the basketball social.
Not a single one.
They don't go in.
That was so fun, man. I can't wait till we do that
I wasn't
again.
there. I don't want to hear about it.
CJ Osborne, I know I said I wouldn't.
It was a great vibe.
Unbelievable.
CJ Osborne, I know I said I wouldn't complain about DeAndre Jordan anymore, but
I'm
about one missed box out.
But I paid $10, so here we go.
Legitimately asking myself if we should give Jay Huff some run. Eric just cringed.
Hey, Jay Huff, very good at the G League.
I was just going to ask if you have the update.
That's the thing. The wildest thing about the G League is that it's so clearly, like nothing more clearly shows you that there are levels to this.
That's so
It's
true.
so true.
You are all the dominant players in the G League are like, okay, cool, they can play in the NBA. Will they be good in the NBA? Probably not.
Hey, I will say this though. Better than to go down there and not be good,
This
which we
is-
have
this
seen
is
before.
also-
You go down there and you struggle at the G League. It's like,
Not
oh
a good
God,
sign.
you got to be
Colin
kidding.
Gillespie had an amazing G League run.
Did you mention that they were in Flint Tropics jerseys tonight?
Dude, they were in incredible Flint Tropics jerseys.
What's a more
Cal,
fun
if you
job?
can pull it up if you find it while we're
What's a
doing
more fun
this.
job than like a minor leagues marketing department? You can just do whatever you want.
I also love that that's such a joke about it being Flint and it's the tropics. And then Grand Rapids is like, funny. It is cold here. Let's put the tropics on.
Oh, all right. What else do we got?
You find it? Boom! Look at Jalen Pickett.
Oh yeah.
Look at that
those
crowd,
bad
by the
boys.
way. Look at the crowd. Grand Rapids, one of the like
show
yeah,
out.
they get a good show out, man. So there you
Good
go.
show out.
What else we got?
Eve Rad, sick.
Oh, that's awesome.
Jokic not only
B-Rad,
playing,
Eve Rad.
right?
Oh,
What up, Eve? Jokic not only
hello.
playing 38 minutes,
right,
but
calm
carrying
down.
by himself. The man needs some rest, a week off, but the schedule does affect games. Back-to-back against a great team that had 3-day rest and fewer games. It's true, the Kings have played 3 fewer games than the Nuggets so far.
That's so weird,
That's
man.
a big gap. Not that,
I
they're
can't believe
also
Malone
good.
didn't bring that up.
Yeah, I don't like to complain about the schedule,
But just can we abolish back-to-back games? Can we just get rid of them?
it's not happening.
Like why?
Toke Rasmussen.
You know why.
Watching along at
But
7
isn't
a.m.
there another
again.
way? Can't we stretch it out? Something?
Stretch out the season. I'm with that. Add another month.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I don't need basketball to end.
No.
In June.
When
You
I'm
guys,
watching basketball,
we
I
can't
want
do
it to be
schedule
worthwhile.
discourse right now. We're doing super chats.
We can do whatever we want.
That's
This is our
45
show.
minutes of discussion. Toke Rasmussen watching along at 7 a.m. here again in Copenhagen.
You son of a biscuit.
Win or lose, it's still good to hang out with you guys and the rest of the
Man,
sickos.
you guys rule.
Dude,
On to the
Toke
next one.
Rasmussen is
Did we
an
just-
absolute goddamn
He
man.
just gave us 45 RKKs.
Dude.
crowns, I think.
They're called crowns?
Does anyone know what that comes out to?
We don't want to know. It doesn't matter. That's gross
you.
and
Doesn't
capitalistic
matter.
for you even to
Yeah,
ask that question.
dude,
It's
what
all
the
about the
hell?
vibes.
I was
You're
just-
trying to
he's
bring
so
it down to this.
capitalistic.
I was
That's
just
my
curious.
thing.
That's
Gross,
me,
dude.
dude.
You're
Just like an
gross,
agent
dude.
of. Anyway, Nadine Marcus. This channel is a fine establishment.
Hey,
Cheers
cheers
to you.
Salud.
Givoli. It's
Givoli.
Josh Jordan, 420, 69. Nice. Law of averages, guys. MPJ's 5+ made threes next game. Bet the house on it.
Yep.
I love that energy.
Is it at home? 'Cause
No.
Then no, don't bet that. Do not bet that.
Right? Because they play the Clippers. The Clippers next?
Bro, I don't know.
Whatever. What else do we got? It doesn't matter, and it is what it is. But can we all collectively exclaim "What the hell" when it comes to KCP's layup
We didn't talk
attempts?
about that, but we should
It's
have.
so funny.
Doesn't matter.
Airtight role player, can't make a mistake, can't hit a wide open layup.
Hardest shots in the NBA. Jokic Sombor shuffle. So tough. It's just so challenging. A KCP fast break.
KCP
so
at the rim.
challenging.
Just can't do it.
I know.
He had the one he missed today with that was like, it wasn't like, oh, rimmed out, no time. It was like, dude, that was so bad. What the hell was that attempt?
Like you're so good at basketball. Oh man.
Last one.
Ken Patterson, Jokic, Porter, and Gordon, second best Nuggets front court to Issel, English,
And Vandeweghe.
Vandeweghe.
Oh, buzzer beater.
Ah!
Oh, no.
Laking ball. I've never missed a loser's lounge. Feels good. Celtics winning the IST.
Do you like this or not like it?
You know what?
We don't know.
You know what?
Does he
Dude?
like the show? Does he hate the
Cheers.
show?
Cheers. That's
it, man.
that's hating right there.
Yeah, right. Like, is this just like he wants us to whatever?
All right.
Thanks. Or
Hit that
or
outro
F you.
music. You know what? Man, this was fun.
It was fun. You know what wasn't fun? That game. This was fun, though.
This was
the discourse, the fellas, the theory, the
hot
breaking
box
down
and
of
hot takes,
the breaking
everything,
down
man.
of human psychology.
We should do
through-
some more hot box and hot takes right now.
Yeah, dude.
We'll do it in a minute.
I don't want the hot takes,
Anything to get us out on?
Oh, I don't have a cool one.
A good zinger?
Givoli.
Tivoli, all right there. D-Line, you could surely beat that.
Who can't beat that? Listen, the Denver Nuggets are still the best team in the world, despite the schedule makers stealing money from you, the fans,
That's so
by
true,
making
man.
them play this ridiculous farce of a game. And
don't
Jokic
forget-
comes, but once a season, make sure that you get in so that everyone at your office party will look at you, and you'll either look at each other knowing that you're the two coolest people in that dump of an office, or they won't know what it is, and you'll know to never associate with them again.
Best outcome is they innocently ask you what this sweatshirt is, and you take an hour of their time. You're like, sit down. I have a
I'm
story.
going to tell you a story.
Do you watch basketball?
In all sincerity, get that shirt because Yokmas is sneaking up really quick. I don't know who's more excited, my children for Christmas or
Yeah.
me for Yokmas. I
you're-
feel like my children.
Let's hope it's your children,
Yeah, you should step
because
it up,
otherwise,
they-
if it's not, you're doing a bad job
Yeah.
at being a parent.
it's important to deliver on that day. of all
I'm
days.
becoming a gamer because I bought my kids a game.
Oh,
You
Can't
bought
wait
your
for those
kids a game, and
updates.
you are becoming a gamer.
I bought myself a
I don't
game to
think
play with my
I don't
kids.
think you understand what the point
Oh,
of the gift.
I'm telling you, it's exactly
Adam
what it
comes
is.
in with a new Mario reference next week.
I can't wait, man. I cannot wait. Everybody, thanks for hanging with us. Hit the like button on the way out.
Let's go.
We all silly like the mayor.